Installing the zipper. When you have found a zipper that matches your garment and you're excited about putting on, the first thing you need to do is check the overall length of it. And I can tell that the zipper is close, but not exactly right. And I think I'm going to have to chop a bit of the ends off on the zipper. Before I do that, however, I want to make sure of the length, so that like once you cut the zipper, that's it, it's done. So what I'm going to do first is get some pins, and I'm going to pin the zipper in, and then I'm going to baste the zipper in. I'll pick that up in a second. You can see that I have just used pins to pin the zipper into place. I started it just at a spot at the bottom where I wanted the bottom of the zipper to be, which is just above my I-cord. That's just me. And I just went up where I feel everything is even and works. And now the next step is going to be to put a running basting stitch along each side of the zipper. I will unzip the zipper and then I'll show you how to do the running basting stitch. Now I have thread and needle with, I'm using a contrasting colored thread, and I am just going to baste this and remove the pins out of the zipper. I'm just going to baste it. I'm just going to use just a basic running stitch. Go in through the bottom, and there we are, and fairly wide. This is just to hold it in place to make sure that you like your work. Saves ripping later. So you see how it's just a running stitch. Very easy. I'm making it fairly wide. Notice how I'm keeping my I-cord edge right up next to the teeth. That's where I want my garment to be, right up next to the teeth. Just like that. So continue on up to the top and then do the other side in your basting stitch. I have finished the basting, and I've actually put my garment, I have a mannequin, so I put it on the mannequin just to make sure that everything was laying nice. There wasn't any puckering. If there was, you weren't happy with something, this is why it's basted. It's very easy to pull it out, redo it, and get your zipper the way that you wanted it. Now I definitely know that my zipper is too long, and the next step is going to be showing you how to shorten this zipper. This zipper has plastic teeth, so I will show you how to do that next. This is how I am shortening my plastic zipper. So to do this, there's a few tools that I use. One is I just buy a really cheap $2 metal zipper, because I want to use the teeth, and I find one that's, if I'm using a large plastic zipper, I'm going to buy a large metal zipper. Anyway, they're cheap, they're everywhere. You need some pliers, you need a screwdriver, and you need crazy glue, and in my case, you're going to see the hands of my husband because I like to give him stuff to do. Okay, so the first step of this is we need to pull 4 teeth off of the metal zipper that we're going to use on the plastic zipper. So my husband is going to pull the teeth out, and he's just using the needle nose pliers, and look. Ow! You lift your head back. There. Okay. All right. He just pulls with the pliers. Simply. And of course I could do this myself, being a strong, confident woman, but I like to give my husband stuff to do. Okay. Like, you don't have enough to do, right? the honey to-do list, the honey-do list. So how much pressure is this requiring? How much strength?
A bit.
A bit. So we need 4 teeth. You got 4?
Got 4.
He has 4 teeth. Next I'll bring the plastic zipper back into the picture. Oh, do you have to widen those?
I do have to.
Yep. Okay, sorry. Here's the second part of this. Right. Now that the teeth are off, we have to actually spread them apart so that we can put them on the other zipper and then crimp them down. This is a little putsy, as you can see. You'd think there'd be an easier method than this. If anybody has it, we'd love to know about it. Okay.
It's easier when somebody's not filming.
Of course it is. There we go. That one has been widened. See, I'm just going to zoom in on that guy. See how he spread the teeth apart? So that's what we need. We just need the teeth apart so that it can be reapplied to the next zipper. So my husband is going to go ahead and finish the other 3 and we'll pick this up. Okay, so now my husband is going to put the metal teeth that he's pried off and pried the tooth apart, and he's going to place them where I want the plastic zipper to stop. Which was between this at the 6th. So he's just pushing it in between the 2 teeth where I want it to stop. And can't really see too much right at this point. But he's pushing it in there. And then he's just going to use the pliers and crimp that tooth down onto the tape of the plastic. There. There he goes. There. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. And you can see it's got a filling. And we're doing two teeth just to make sure it's a good stop. And there you can see my zipper. Still too long, but it now has, aren't they cute, the little silver fillings that make a great little stopper. Now we are going to, or not we, but you are going to have to cut the zipper tape so that it's not so long. But before you do, this is to help prevent fraying, and it works quite well. I tried a few things. We tried heat, didn't like that. Tried nail polish, didn't really like that. Crazy glue or Gorilla Glue would work the same. Awesome. So before you cut where you need to cut, I'm just going to pull this basting out a bit. I do not want to get crazy glue on my sweater at all. You understand why. Okay, before I cut it, I'm going to put crazy glue where the cut is going to go. And then once I cut it, the yarn won't, or the zipper tape won't fray. So I'm going to cut it between this tooth and this tooth. So I'm just going to get the crazy glue and make a line. I don't want it to be too fat because it does create an unsewable space in the fabric. It gets quite hard in here. So I don't want it too big, but big enough that it does the job. And I do want to make sure it soaks through, so I'm going to flip that over and do some on this side, like that, and let it soak in. That's where I'm going to cut. So I will do that with the other side and let it dry, and I'll show you when I cut it. Now for the scary part. Crazy glue has dried. I am going to get my scissors, nice sharp ones. Don't you dare be using dull ones. These are actually my ones that I have in my kitchen, Henkel's, that are used for, actually they can cut bone, small bone, not big bone. Okay, and I'm going to start between the two teeth and just cut. And that crazy glue has created an edge that is not going to fray. You can hear it. So you are good to go, and you've got a nice finished zipper. I'll go ahead and do that on this side. My scissors. Get your sharp scissors. There you are. So I will tighten up the basting before I go to the next step, but there is your new zipper that has been cut, and it is not going to fray. You can do it. Now that the basting stitch is in, I am firmly securing it by using a back stitch. And what I am doing is I pick a line along the zipper tape and I try to stick close to that line so that this is as neat as possible by doing it by hand. I don't have the steadiest hands, but that's not too bad of a line, so that it looks decent. So I find my line and I insert my needle, and then what I do is I've picked a point on this side where I want my needle to come up, and I just stick with that rhythm, which is, in this particular case, it's along this channel here, but you'll pick that point and just stick with it. And I draw it through, and then because this is a back stitch, I go back, right? So I'm going to go back down a stitch, really, is what I'm doing, and I'm going to insert the needle back in, but this is where I want my needle to come up along the line where I had stitched before, just to keep it neat. And there it is. So I'm going back, and that's how you do a back stitch. And I pull that through and it secures it. Then I jump ahead, I pick a point there, whoops, like that, and get the right spot on my knitting, which is coming up in that stitch. That's where I've decided I want my stitching to come through, just along the stitch that's right beside the zipper teeth. And then I go back down a stitch. I'm going to see, if I pushed that in right there, I wouldn't be happy because it's below this careful line I'm trying to make. So I'm just going to slightly readjust my needle, voila, so that it continues on a very nice looking line. And then it's stitched back like that, and I stitch forward again, come up in the spot that I like, and then go back and adjust the needle so it comes up into the line where I'm happy, and continue all the way up. So go ahead and do your back stitch all along both sides, or all up the zipper and on the other side of the zipper as well. Once I have done the running, or the back stitch to hold the zipper in place along the teeth, then what I do, so that the tape part isn't flapping in the wind, is I just start at the bottom and I use an overcast, and I just consistently, I just grab a stitch and consistently the same stitch on the inside of the garment, which is this one, and I just pick up a little edge and pull it through and overcast. Pick up the next one, just grab a little edge of that, and the next one, etc. And that is tacking down your inside tape so that it doesn't go flapping in the wind. And you can see the basting stitches, which we will take out in a minute. So I will go ahead and do that on both my zippers, and then I will remove the basting tape, or the basting stitches, and pick it up from there. The back stitching, the overcasting is done. The zipper is secured. The basting threads have been pulled out. And voila, you have a fabulous zipper for your garment. Hey, good job.